Yeah. By the way, RP Reptile, they did you dirty.
Mortal Kombat!
Finish them.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Essentially Heroes.
EH.
We're trying out doing a remote episode, this time, just to see how that'll work. But yeah,
Safety. Hashtag trying new things.
Hashtag pandemic life.
Hashtag like and subscribe and comment and ring that bell button if you continuing to watch this video, okay?
So yes, today we are covering the Mortal Kombat movie, the newest Mortal Kombat movie that we've been waiting for what is it, like 10 years or
very long time. Birth. It is the very movie that the internet is fighting over right now. Everyone's going crazy over it right now.
Yeah, very very divisive movie. I'll say that.
I would say it is very divisive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do we jump right in or do we introduce? Because I'm ready.
Well, yeah. So I guess we could just briefly say our backgrounds with Mortal Kombat, just so people know where we're coming from. Me personally, I'm not the biggest Mortal Kombat fan. I've played a couple of games. My first Mortal Kombat game was for the Game Boy Color. Right.
I know which one you played. That game was trash.
Wow.
Yeah.
That game was trash. It's crazy.
It is all the characters look the same. It was awful. But yeah. So that's and then I didn't really play too many. I would just jump on here and there, a couple quick matches. But I wasn't really down with the lore or the mechanics of the game. I just knew it through just osmosis of pop culture. Yeah. But Victor, I know that you're a way bigger Mortal Kombat fan.
Yo, I've been playing that shit since pressing one button was considered a combo. You know what I'm talking about. I've been playing that game since it went through so many cosmetic changes and
I've been playing that game for quite some time too, so I have a few knowledge of it. The first one I played was, I think, Mortal Kombat 2 for Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I've just been in it. It was one of those games that I played with my siblings all the time. It was probably, if not the very first fighting game I ever played.
Wow.
I'm not even holding you. Yeah, Mortal Kombat was, I can say that with it was the very first fighting game that I played. And that it's what started my love for fighting video games. So Mortal Kombat always had a special place in my heart. I do know some most of the lore. I at some point I sort of got lost with it. I think after when part 9 came out, that's when it got a little messy for me, so I don't necessarily know the most recent stuff, but for the most part I know the general lore of it all and stuff. So
word, that game takes me back to the laundromat days. You're an old head if you know what them days is about.
Oh heck yeah. Well, for me it was Marvel vs. Capcom 2, but yeah.
That game too. That's another laundromat classic.
Yeah.
Every day after school,
shit.
3 o'clock.
Yo, let's jump into it. I cannot wait, because we've been waiting so long for a movie that actually paid homage to the game, not to Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. And I feel like they definitely did try that with this movie. They used a lot of lesser known actors. They really tried to get into some of the lore, but only as much as they could do, as far as a reboot goes.
They scrapped that shit.
I'll say this,
they scrapped that shit. They said we gonna do it the Marvel way.
I'll say this. I went into that movie with no expectations.
Like he always does.
I had no expectations.
Like he always does.
I wasn't really expecting anything. And I didn't really have the craziest hopes, because when all is said and done, y'all, this is a fighting video game It's a movie based off of a fighting video game. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like I don't really have like crazy. I'm just expected to be entertained.
He's
And for the most
disrespecting the
part,
9, 10, and 11 fans.
I'm not.
Yo, he really is, because that's when they really took story serious.
The
How you gonna
The
do
man
that?
expresses
How you gonna do
opinion.
He
that?
said they didn't start taking the story serious to Mortal Kombat 9. That came out what 5 years ago. Mortal Kombat been out since the 80s. You telling me they waited to start 9?
You
start
gotta
making
look.
sense?
This is like the 3rd revamp in this damn series. Like, come on, man. It's for the new fans.
I didn't.
new
I
fans.
didn't. I'm not a new fan. Y'all heard me. Y'all heard me. And it's just like when all is said and done, it's like most movies that are based off video games are not even that good. So it's like this is a fighting video game movie. It's like I just feel like some people went into the movie being just overcritical of it. And I honestly, for the most part, enjoyed the movie. Like I legit like enjoyed it. And then and as a fan, I still have my gripes, and we're gonna get into it.
Nah.
I definitely had my gripes, but my gripes wasn't enough to make me feel like completely sour about the movie.
The movie was
Makes
good
any
to
sense.
all the way to the end.
What?
They pulled the Marvel. Yo, DC taking notes from Marvel. How you gonna
No,
sequel
I
bait
don't
us like that?
No, I think a lot of movies are focusing on making of doing and a lot of people are taking notes from Marvel, as in like trying to build something, making. So I thought that ending was pretty good. They're trying to really build a cinematic universe around this, and you can do it with Mortal Kombat. Like it is very possible to build a universe or a little cinematic universe with Mortal Kombat. There's so many different realms and so many different stories, so many different possibilities. It's possible.
Word.
So I didn't necessarily mind that ending.
They have to, because now that I heard that DC is going into the Injustice, and they're gonna try to bring that to the silver screen. If they could tie in the Mortal Kombat movie with it, like how the game did, oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh, like DC versus Mortal Kombat?
Yeah.
Yeah, because that would take DC
That
to
would
some
be
new
wild.
heights. Not
That
gonna
would be
lie.
wild.
DC right now is
No,
on the
I just
thread.
You
feel
already
like
know
a
Zack
lot of-
Snyder's sweating to get on that.
No, I mean when you think about the
He's like, I get to kill everybody? Yes.
No, it's like when you think about the politics of things, like a lot of people are trying to build that magic, and if there's anything that MCU have showed these other movie companies, that you could really build a universe within a movie. So I think Warner Bros are really, I think it's really smart that they do capitalize off of the Mortal Kombat fan base, because I think it is the Warner Bros that own them.
Yeah.
And like the same love that they give to Harry Potter and like keeping that franchise going, is like I think they could really push it with Mortal Kombat and really make it something if they put if they play their cards right, because if there's anything, it showed that the fans are definitely here for it.
They just need to make sure these actors take their role serious, because that Liu Kang was.
Let's get into it. So in the movie, let's get into it. So in the movie, we're introduced to Cole, and they let us know about like the birthmarks, how he was born with the birthmark, and he had first of all, the movie opens up with Scorpion and
Sub-Zero, and they was dead speaking Chinese and Japanese to each other.
Which I thought was very,
which for a lot of people I think was, so even for people who don't like the movie, I think that's a point that will at least liked, was that it started off and everything was like very like high tension, dramatic, like the fight scene, like and getting that backstory between the characters. So I think even for people who fucking hate this movie, they at least like that part. So I definitely give them like full credit on that. And they got like and the guy who plays Scorpion, I think his name is Hiroyuki Hiroyuki something. I'm blanking on his last name, but he's like a pretty huge actor in Japan as well. So they brought in some real talent for for Scorpion, and while it's unfortunate that we
They
don't,
did.
Yeah, he didn't have to conform to the movie. Like he was just his authentic Japanese
I
self.
wish we saw more of
Yeah.
him. They made him like
Nah,
they made
he
him
was a
look like
cameo.
They
They
made
had
him
Yeah,
look like
not
the
enough
front runner,
Scorpion.
so that was one of my things. But yeah, so we're introduced to like the fight. We're introduced to the beef between Scorpio and Sub-Zero. And
Stop saying Scorpio.
Scorpion. Sorry, I only saw Scorpio once.
Scorpio season.
That was my first time saying it. To Scorpion and Sub-Zero. And I would say that could be a whole movie in itself. Like the beef between them two could be a whole movie within itself. And I feel like I feel like these movies that was it Warner Bros. that made this movie? I feel like they underestimate the amount of like how long Mortal Kombat has been in the culture. Like people like so I feel like they were really trying to introduce Mortal Kombat to a lot of people, and it's like a lot of us know. So I personally think it would have been cool if this movie, even if it wasn't called Mortal Kombat, and like it was just like a movie based on their origin and it led to Mortal Kombat, I would have been so down with that. That would make it more cinematic and more, But anyway, yeah. So we are introduced to them. The fight scenes were the fight scene between them were amazing. I thought it was very catchy how his wife's gardening tool would be the weapon that became, I'm like, what this
That's
happened.
how ninjas really got their weapons.
But you know what?
Yeah,
I gotta
100%
say that
historically
knife tool
accurate.
was the only thing in the movie that had a good origin story. I mean, look at that. At least Scorpio's weapon got an origin story. Better than the fucking creature hand that came out his hand in the old movie.
Oh,
in the
yeah.
90s one.
Oh my god.
I can't believe we never peeped that. I can't believe
it was a
never,
little
like,
dragon that came out his hand.
I just watched that a few days ago, and I'm like, we were really okay with like little fucking like
Little toys and
it
metal
was like
trinkets.
a little fucking dragon that shot out his hand. What the
Yo.
fuck was that?
And then also, like, if you miss, it explodes.
Yeah,
if you guys
it
remember
was
that.
it was crazy.
It hit the
Anyway,
tree and it just
Film was
died.
a hell of a time.
Yeah. So I do like that. They got that. Yeah, because that totally. So they got that down. And then eventually we're introduced to the main character of the story, which is Cole. I forgot his last name. And he got his wife and his daughter, and he's a fighter, and he's like, that's just like, fighter, I don't fight like that no more. That type of rep, I'm changing. Like,
Oh my goodness.
I didn't really.
Also, he got his ass beat. Like, he had that match in the bag, and he just got thrashed.
Yeah.
He just let that happen.
Yeah, I didn't really care about the reason why. He just didn't, like, he just got fucked up. It was like,
Word.
Yeah.
I love that
$100.
MMA fight scene because it didn't seem like a BS movie fight scene where you just see people faking hits. It felt like they were really doing something they practiced.
yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't really crazy about the main character. Like,
But one
Same.
thing about that too, so they established that his fighting style is like MMA pretty much, right?
Yeah.
But then he doesn't really use it that much throughout the movie. Like,
That
'cause
shield kept saving them.
yeah, that, and like his powers was like Tonfa's.
Tonka sticks. What the fuck?
It literally-
We already got a
So-
character in that like that. His name is
No
Striker.
sense.
Yes,
Like, I'm
so why
bugging.
establish that?
I gotta
he's a-
say, like, when his Arcana came up, I just like, I was like, what is that?
Yeah, I was like, is he that
No, I thought
character
it was
from
cool.
10?
At first, I thought
But
it was.
then that was someone else. I'm like, nah, that's not him.
At first, I thought it was cool because I'm like, oh, he could absorb like radiant energy. Like he's like he's like Sebastian Shaw or something. Like he like absorbs, got the Black Panther suit. But then when he grew the
Was
takas, I'm like, okay, now I'm completely fucking lost.
Yeah, I was lost too.
so random.
Like, I don't know what that was.
Yeah, he
I guess
couldn't
they
even-
just needed someone for the fans to relate
Yeah.
to because no one is really relatable with Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat unless
Yeah.
you really like.
I mean, so
Yeah.
then we're like, so I thought, I didn't really like I said, I didn't really like care much for his character. I feel like the first part of the movie was a little stagnant because it did focus on that character's life, and so the first part really focuses on that. I thought the second part of the movie was where it really started getting good, when we're introduced to Sonya, introduced to Jax.
Kano was hilarious.
Kano,
he was that, yo.
I gotta say,
I haven't seen a white dude be that.
I gotta say, like, I was like, Kano was the most likable character in the movie for me, and I don't know how I feel about that.
He had a chip on his shoulder. Yeah, that's true.
I'm
man.
like, why is Kano the most
going back to the
likable?
acting?
Yeah, like, why is Kano? Yeah, because it's really the acting, because his acting was
Like,
just true to the. Like,
what's that actor's name from the show Warrior who played as Sub-Zero?
Oh crap! I forgot.
I gotta look at the name.
He did such a good job.
He
But
was
mostly he
just
was
on
acting.
point. Scorpion
it was
was
fighting,
on point. Jax
you know.
was all right. When he
Jax
got
didn't
fucked
have
up,
a lot to do
he
in
did
the
a good
movie.
job acting like he got fucked up. I'll say that. His name is Mahad Brooks. You could follow him on Instagram.
I will say the baby
Yeah.
arms they gave him was so unnecessary.
Yo,
They were
nah,
so
they
unnecessary.
violated.
They should just gave him.
They
like,
they
they should just
demasculated.
gave him those arms to begin
Emasculated.
with, and then made him discover his arcana that way. So I was really just
Yeah.
like, wait.
Yeah, I was
wait,
confused.
what?
How the fuck you grow metal arms?
Yeah, so I was like, wait, what?
So
Yeah,
you're
I
a
was
metal
like, so
bender?
what is his arcana?
Yeah, that movie gave me a lot of questions more than answers.
Yeah.
I'm not
But
gonna lie.
But yeah,
I
I
did-
think that is one thing with the movie is that there's a lot of characters overall, but they don't do a lot with most of them.
Facts.
So like
Did they
with-
retcon like Quan Chi from the story? Because you know he was the one that was Sub-Zero that killed Scorpion.
Oh yeah, I think they retconned that.
Yeah,
So
because
that's
they did
actually
not
Scorpion.
mention him
I mean,
once
Sub-Zero.
in the movie.
I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, that was one of those. It was okay. So I feel like that was one of those other plots where that made Mortal Kombat just really like spotty. Like I said, they could still put Quan Chi in part 2 and give the reveal. But
Yeah, they'll probably be like,
it'll get
oh, that
very-
really
it
was
gets
Quan Chi.
very, like, but no, like I said, I thought it really started to pick up during the second part. Another gripe I had with the movie was Raiden and
Yeah, his acting was really
Raiden
not it.
and Sang Soo. Like they just didn't do it.
They were so calm.
They just didn't do it for me. Like
Yeah.
Raiden just looked like a regular ass human, like monk. Like this is a god.
Yeah, he
Like,
didn't feel like how he feels in the
didn't
games.
feel stoic. He didn't feel like Raiden. He just felt like some like monk that picked him up. Like that was like, and Sang Soo was just giving me too much Wizard of like Netherly place. Like I don't know what it was. It was just like I don't know. I was like, it's just not doing it for me. And we're coming from the one in the '90s where their role, like
Their
Sang Soo,
acting was
despite like how crazy the '90s movie was, Sang Soo's role was he killed it to the point where he reprised it for the video game. So it's like this Sang Soo had to be on point. It just didn't.
Your brother's soul is mine.
Didn't do yeah right. As cheesy listen, it was all the cheesiness
Legendary.
and everything that we needed, and like this one it just didn't do it for me. I guess like they were trying to go a different tone, but it like I just didn't like I don't know.
Yeah, it was a weird mix of like
I was very
them trying to
like,
make
underwhelmed
it.
with Raiden.
Yeah. By the way, RP Reptile, they did you dirty.
But I feel like there's like a weird sort of split in this movie where they try to be like down to earth and really realistic for a lot of points, and then kind of like just jump to sort of over the top action and sci-fi stuff, and then it doesn't quite mix that well. Like they didn't really commit to either one. So like for example, they open up with the Scorpion and Sub-Zero scene, which is like really cool and like technical, they just John Wick their way through that shit. And then you have like all this like goofy shit later on where like they're fighting Reptile and all that stuff, but then even as far as like the over the top stuff goes, like they didn't really go far enough, so they fail on that like regard too, because there's only like what 2 fatalities in the whole movie.
No, I think I counted like 5, cause Jax got fatality.
Oh yeah.
Kung
Yeah.
Lao got fatality. Liu Kang
Yeah.
fatality someone. I think
True.
Sonya
There was a few fatalities.
someone.
They just all weren't gory.
Yeah, they weren't
Like,
gory.
some of
I
them
didn't
were
really
like
count it.
captured in terms of the angle to make it look like a fatality, and then some of them were just like a casual action move.
But just to say
Yeah.
back on what you were saying, like how they were, they didn't match the two. I would say like that's very Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat also has a very like despite the gore, the blood and gore stuff, that's also a whimsiness to like Mortal Kombat. Like I remember the early ones when you did the uppercuts and the person like whoopsie, like they got the like that shit would kill me. Like they just be
Yeah.
little shit like the babyality or the friendship. So there is humor to Mortal Kombat, and I thought they were getting there. I really like that they used Kano's character to really bring that humor, and it's
Yeah.
like he got his ass fucked up in the movie, so it's like, oh shit, like what's gonna happen? But like Johnny Cage is predicted to be in the next movie, so if he's gonna be in the next movie, I already know he's gonna fill in Kano's role with
funny
I'm
white
assuming
guy.
so.
the comic guy. So I'm really excited to see how they're gonna pull off Johnny Cage.
Word,
Part 2.
because whoever they're hiring for that role, he has to like
Yeah.
be Hollywood. Like,
Imagine they
but
get
yeah,
Tom
no,
Holland.
Another thing that a lot of people were complaining about are the arcanas, which me personally I didn't mind. I thought that was actually pretty cool, like them awakening their arcanas and stuff. I will say now where things did get a little funny at, I wasn't too crazy about the birthmark.
oh,
Like
the Mortal
marks,
Kombat
like the
symbol.
chosen marks, like that to me didn't necessarily make any sense, because it's like
Because like who had the first
I
one?
think it really takes away the main purpose of the characters. Like these characters are not chosen in the video games. They fight because they know it's the right thing, and they do it because it's like they're stepping up. Where I feel like these birthmark rule, it's more like you've been chosen, or it's like you like the way I didn't like the way that like Liu Kang was like, I just killed some random person and I got my mark. And it's like, this is Liu Kang, like he was like the chosen one, like, or like he stepped up and wanted to, like this whole thing with like, Jax just killed a random person in South America and all of a sudden he got this mark. And then like, so I thought like it got a little too
Messy.
much. And then they were like explaining the rules of how you get the powers, and like, oh, you got to be angry, and it's like, wait, do you have to be angry all the time? So it didn't really work. But with that said, I did like the idea of fighters having arcanas and like discovering it after training and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool, because as a kid, when I would play Mortal Kombat, I'm like, how do these characters have these powers? Like, how does Sonya have the power to shoot out rings? And I know a lot of people were complaining about that part. Like, I don't ever want to see Sonya shoot purple rings out. I don't want to, like, what was that? I liked it.
We'll finish up with our closing thoughts here. Was this for
And what
so
we
for
expect
me,
from part 2, if there's going to be one.
Yeah, so
I mean, this is evidence that Warner Brothers and DC is watching Marvel's every step.
yeah. They're trying to set up those
And beat 'em,
cinematic
join 'em.
universes, so they have this, they have the MonsterVerse, and they have DC going. So they're really trying to come at Disney's neck right now. They're trying to come for that crown, and I think that that's going to be a good thing, because it'll kind of push them, beyond what they've been doing, which I think is going to be good for everyone. So, getting all these different series like updated and, and brought into the modern age. And yeah, I hope to see from part 2 that they'll, increase the like Mortal Kombat-ness of it, like just really like own the insaneness, own the gore, like let characters be over the top. And take a note from Suicide Squad. Like I feel like that's another similar example of what it could be. Where it's you have all these over the top characters and just a lot of them fucking die in crazy ways, and it's just fun still. Like it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be dark. It can just be fun. So I'm just hoping that the next movie is just more fun. That's all I really want out of it.
Yeah, man. The budget they must have had to make this movie.
Yeah, it looked really good.
I
Goro
imagine the next one.
and Reptile looked really good.
My final thoughts on it is, I would say, like I said, I generally enjoyed the movie. Like I said, I did have my gripes, but like I said, I didn't have a lot of expectations for the movie. I never have I would never have crazy expectations for
I don't like
a movie based off of a fighting game.
Facts. But I mean, it's a $1 million franchise.
No, it is.
I just feel like when you take a movie and adapt it in a similar way that's been done already, that's where it gets a little blurred for me. Like, because now I'm wondering, all right, this whole universe they just rebuilt for the second time in the game. They made Scorpion and Sub-Zero cool. They did all, I don't want to spoil it, but they did a lot of shit to and now they just revamping it again. I'm like, well,
because like I said, it's a movie. Like, this is why I was saying, like, they underestimate the fans. Like, it's like most people know about Mortal Kombat, y'all. Like,
I think it's cut between 3 fan bases. It's like the 90s movie fans.
Again, no,
4 fan bases: the 90s movie fans, the 90s game fans, and then the modern gamer fans, and then the modern movie fans. Because there's a lot of movie goers that don't play the games, but they love the movies.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah. So no, agreed. I just feel like a lot of people are just like, it's the wackest movie. I've never seen.
No, it's not whack.
Like, some people like it's whack. Some people are like, oh, the 90s is better. Some people love it.
Darius said that.
So it's very my younger brother did not like the movie, but like I said, I generally liked it. A lot of people are saying that the 90s is better, and it's like, the 90s version had some next stuff too, like dragons coming out of people's bodies, the thing that came out of Scorpion's hand, like it would look like Alien or Predator or whatever. Like, they had their own, they both had their own flaws, and it's like, when it comes to I feel like when it comes to a movie made about video games, just enjoy it. Just sit down and enjoy it and be happy that the industry is trying to even attempt to make this a movie. But what I do expect from part 2, because I would definitely watch part 2. I wouldn't be mad if the main character that was in this movie somewhat died or disappeared, and we focus on Johnny Cage or Liu Kang. And then people's like, oh no, that's not right. But it's like, it's been done in Mortal Kombat before. We've been introduced to main characters
that we love.
We were introduced to Shujinko in Deception and never heard of him again.
Who you think Game of Thrones got its lessons from?
Yeah. So it was like, none of it, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad if Cole's character was nowhere near part 2. I just really wasn't crazy about him. Maybe they'll work on his story and the relationship that he has with Scorpion. Speaking of that, I really do wish they had more of a moment when it's like, yo, you my grandpa. But they never even, he said some joint to him in Japanese and just disappeared. Anyway, but I hope, if he's gonna be in the movie, I hope that, he just, pick up with the writing and stuff like that. But I would not mind if he's not in part 2 at all. But I'm also, sidebar, I'm sorry, I know I'm ranting. I want to see a black Katana. Because Melina was black, so I need Katana to be black too. I said what I said.
They're gonna be like, oh well,
if Katana's not black,
I keep telling
in
them.
another world,
race
doesn't work that way.
If Katana's not black, I'm riding.
She from Outer World. Her issues is not ours.
It doesn't matter. She's still a clone of Katana. She's still a clone of Katana. She is Katana's clone. So if Melina is black, that means Katana is black too. So if I don't have a black Katana in part 2, I'm riding.
Remember, Katana was a bad guy at one point.
Hey,
I don't know what they running with this whole new mythos lore.
That's true.
Yo, it getting me tight.
So all right, I guess that's pretty much everything that we have with this movie.
How comment below how you would fatality protagonist in this movie.
And comment below what you prefer. Do you prefer the 90s one? Do you prefer the 21, the recent one? Or you just like me that likes both?
I think the game movies are better.
Huh?
But you get a whole 8-hour movie in the game. So.
Purist over here. Yeah, let us know which one you guys like the best. And yeah, thanks for rocking with us. Like, comment, share the video, and hit the notification bell for your for all your notifications. Yeah, finish it, or your soul is mine. And all right, folks. So this is EH signing off.
Flawless victory. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and fatality. Your best friend.
Man, oh shit. Okay.
Your brother's soul is mine.